All right. The proposal. All right. So let's go ahead and talk. I proposed to you on the 19th
December.
of December. It was our four-month anniversary.
There's no anniversary a month.
Well, yeah, it was 4 months of us being together, figuring it all out, going through all the things. So I'm gonna give you the perspective on my end of how it all went down in my head, because I've kind of talked about it, but I haven't talked about like everything that I was going through in that.
How the proposal went down?
Yeah.
Okay.
From my end, because usually, you tell how it happened with you, but I'm gonna tell you how it happened on my end, because leading up to that, there's stuff that was going on.
Okay.
So,
love to hear this.
So we start out, I'll say we just were kind of looking at different rings. We had brought up the subject of getting married, and we kind of talked about rings, and we looked at different rings, and I noticed that you had a particular ring that you sent to me at least 5 times in the span of all the other rings that you sent. I kept getting this one repeated.
That was a coincidence because I wasn't even where I was doing it. And then I finally realized I was doing that. Did you notice? Because I even told you.
No, I noticed it before you even noticed it.
I was like, bro,
because I had already.
ring.
So I was saving specific ones in my email, and I kept seeing that one pop up, and I was like, okay. So in Google you star it or whatever. So I started, and so I had that one saved, and I kept seeing it, and I was like, okay, you're telling me this is what you want.
Apparently.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, but. At the time, I was like, this is a pricey ring. This is a very pricey ring for all the stuff we had going on and all the stuff I have going on financially.
Yeah.
I got to figure something out. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go look on the website and see what it's about. So instead of going through the link that you sent me, I was like, let me go in here and look it up. I knew what kind of cut you wanted, the princess cut. I knew the setting and all that. So I just started putting in the information like I was searching for it by filtering. And so I just happened to come across the one that I found that is basically identical to yours, but just a little bit more pocket friendly, I guess we'd say. I'm not telling how much that costs because
it's a beautiful ring.
It is.
It's the same ring. It's the only difference is slightly smaller carat.
Yeah, slightly smaller carat, which the whole point of it was to have the design that you wanted. Have something that you desired that you would think would look good on your hand. But we hadn't actually figured out your size.
Right.
And so I actually put on the Asana for us to go get ring sizes. And that was after Thanksgiving. I think that's when we did it.
Oh, yeah.
It was...
you made me go to the mall.
Yeah, because we went to the mall and we went through a jewelry store and just had them size us up because I wasn't for sure what my size was either.
Right.
But we found your size. And so then that kind of gave me the idea of, okay, this is the size I have to work with. This is the idea of what I need. And then I tried to execute. And I think I was trying to execute this prior to the day after Thanksgiving. Because the day after Thanksgiving is when you helped me figure out how to maneuver it. But once that was done, it was squared away. The thing was, the date that it was supposed to come was actually tomorrow, Christmas Eve. And they kept saying, it's going to arrive on Christmas Eve. It's going to arrive on Christmas Eve. And we had plans to travel. And so it was going to be like, well, I guess I'll have to figure something out after Christmas Eve. And then at some point between after Thanksgiving and last week, we had watched a bunch of different proposals. And
what do you mean we watched a bunch of proposals?
You were sending me them, and I was watching them, and you were watching them.
Babe, I sent you like 3 proposals.
Right.
3.
Right. But there was this running joke that I could not surprise you.
It was true.
You were like, you will not be able to surprise me. And
I'm
like,
no joke. That was facts.
Right. So I was like, okay, rule number 1 is I got to surprise you. No matter what, I'm going to figure it out. And I had come up with all these different ways, and I was like, well, I could do it here and there. But then I had to weigh options of, if I was gonna like overplay something that was going on in a situation. So like, say if it was gonna be
with my family,
with your family or with my family.
Yeah.
The circumstances of, okay, is this going to overshadow something that's going on there?
Yeah.
And I didn't want that to happen. But I wanted to be able to have that moment with you. You also didn't want to have something in a big crowd.
No.
Because you didn't want all the attention on you.
Right.
Which was one of the methods that I was thinking of, because I've already told you one of them was going to be during membership. I was
at church.
At church.
Bruh.
But I thought that might be a little dramatic.
Right.
I thought that might be a little dramatic, so I was like, no. She said intimate, not in front of a bunch of people.
And that would have been online.
Yes, it would have been online everywhere. Which it probably would have got some good kudos for the church.
Yeah, maybe.
They probably would have got some hits. But instead, I was like, I got to figure out an intimate way to do it. And I was like, well, maybe it'll be, a Christmas Day thing, because we thought it was coming Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. We might be able to get it beforehand, and then do what we need to do.
So
right before we started let's see what it was, a Thursday? Yes, it was Thursday that I proposed. That Monday, or after church that Sunday, we had decided that, or was it? It was probably the week before. We decided we were going to start praying in the morning and in the evening.
Yeah.
Was it the week before? Or was it that week?
It was definitely before Thursday.
It was before Thursday. It was that week. It was that Monday.
It was Sunday or Monday, because we got into it.
Yes.
And then I was like, I think we need to start praying.
Yes. And so.
But for context, I didn't say we need to start praying because we were getting into it. I was just saying I think it would be a good practice for us.
Right. And I was in agreement, because I felt like we're starting, I guess, to go back. We had moved in together, and we were starting to kind of figure out how to operate in the same living space. Mm-hmm. And there was a little bit of conflict there.
Yeah.
And so the goal was, we should start seeking the Lord in the morning and in the evening, to make sure that we are staying in His will, and to make sure that we're basically on the same page, and that we just have that time and space to speak to God and kind of ask for guidance as we're going through different changes. And the first day became a different type of situation, where at night we would pray together out loud, and then during the morning we would text. So the prayer would go through text. Uh-huh. So that way there was written, and then we had speaking. So because I know you kind of like to write, and I like to speak. So we kind of both get our own version of what we want.
Right.
And that's I think it's been working great. Mm-hmm. The first day, there was a lot of stuff that happened within the first day of starting it. Yeah. Lots of changes, lots of doors opening, God making moves in ways that I did not expect, but I'm very thankful for. And that morning after I prayed, I went and looked in my email, and the date, so it has a tracker in the email where you can track where it's coming, and it went from Christmas Eve to the 18th.
Oh, really?
Yes,
what?
That Monday.
That's
so
wild.
I knew that Monday, and I was like, okay. So my next thing was I knew we were going to be traveling on Friday for my sister's graduation, so I was like, I need to get a haircut. Mm-hmm. So I scheduled that Thursday to get my hair cut. And I was like, so I'll have a fresh cut. We drive out. I'll be looking good while we're out there. We take good pictures with everything. So I was like, I'm going to try to work in getting this ring, because the 19th, the next day, the same day as the haircut, was going to be, I was like, if I could get the haircut and I could pick up the ring, then that evening, because I figured we were going to be working, I was like, that evening we can have a little conversation, and then I can do my thing. And
you was going to propose to me after work?
I was.
Oh, Lord.
I was.
Like, what is this?
That was the plan. It was gonna be something because remember we had talked about at one point. I think it was Tuesday. We talked about, or maybe it was that same Monday. We talked about being more intentional.
Yeah.
And you had talked about,
and that's where prayer came in, actually.
yes, because we were saying, hey, we need to be more intentional about us. We started praying, and then you said, since we moved and we've been kind of figuring all this stuff out, we're missing out on being intentional with each other as well.
Yeah.
We're distracted by the move and then trying to get into the space and figure things out. And instead of being intentional with what we're doing and going out and being ourselves together like we normally have been, we've been concentrating on what it means for us to be in a house together.
And thinking about marriage basically it was so future oriented, there was no present orientation. And all the future stuff was stressing me out,
right?
Which was giving me attitude,
right,
on the daily.
Yes,
which I was like taking out on you,
right? And then we weren't focusing on, hey, I'm with this great person, and I just want to go out and have fun,
just be with them.
and enjoy our life as a couple.
But the context for that is a long time ago, before we started, obviously before we moved in together, we had to add date nights to the calendar.
Yes.
So we had date nights on the calendar for Fridays. Friday came, and it was the week that we moved in, I think.
Yes.
So we was worn out.
Yep.
And basically we was at home. It's like,
because I think we were going to plan to go out, and then we were just like, nah, we just going to stay.
Yeah, like, whatever. You want to?
Yeah.
And then we didn't even do nothing that day. That night, we ended up we watched
a movie or something.
TV or something like that.
But,
Papa's House?
Yeah, we watched the shows.
No, actually, we watched that on a Saturday or something.
Yep. But
so we didn't do what we would normally do on a date night.
Right. And then our whole weekend kind of got thrown off.
Yeah.
It was just, we were having a feeling that it was just kind of off and things. And so it was starting to cast doubt. Because we were like, are we really doing this? Does this work?
Say I had doubts and fears.
Yeah.
And I said that I don't even know if I want to be with you. Something like that.
Yes. Right. And I think it's just because we were just like living in a gloomy space of, there was so much stuff. There was a lot of responsibility happening all at once. And we were trying to concentrate on that. And instead of, we were looking at this, but we weren't looking at us as a couple.
Right.
And we weren't being like, hey, let's take some time to just be us for a second, instead of trying to figure out bills and figure out all this stuff and then figure out how to be right in the right place. And then
whether or when to get married,
yes.
How to get married, me stressing if he gonna even propose, because I done said 17 times, we made a mistake, I don't want to do this with you no more. I'm about to just take my name off this lease and leave.
Right.
And on top of that, the other issue was I felt like we settled into a place of complacency.
Yes.
And it's like we became familiar when it shouldn't even be anything like that.
No, we are brand new.
So we regress to behaviors that you would expect us to have with exes.
Yes. Definitely.
And we kind of, I felt like we were starting to settle into a place as if we already knew each other. There was nothing else to learn, nothing else to explore, no other fun to be had. And I'm like, oh no, honey, this ain't it.
Right. And that wasn't us.
That wasn't us at all.
No.
Nor do I ever want it to be, nor do I expect it to be. But that right there is what really captured it. So after missing date night, something happened on Saturday. I don't know if Saturday is when I was tripping. Yeah. And then maybe Sunday I calmed down a little bit because I was reflecting. Right. And then that's when all this came, and it was like, okay, we got to start over. Right. Because this right here ain't it.
Yeah, I think it was just us trying to be romantic in the situation, and then we just were like, it just wasn't
nothing was flowing.
No, it was just kind of awkward in our space, and so we were just like, well, we gonna have to chalk this up as an L and keep moving and go to church. And
Sunday was better though.
Yeah, Sunday was better.
But then after Sunday, more reflection.
Yes.
And that's why I asked you to go out with me on Monday.
Right. So we went out.
And we went out for Italian food.
Yes. And it was a good experience, and we reconnected.
We had a really good night.
It was a really good night.
And so since then, we've been cool.
Yes.
But then I had 2 bad dreams.
Yes. And
so before you go on, tell your other side.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm sitting. I did actually have 2 bad dreams. I don't think it was the same week though.
No.
I think I had one week and then another. And both of these dreams was you playing me,
right?
Or like stringing me along. I'm never gonna marry this girl. She
right.
this and that. Basically, I look like a fool while you over here playing your game, and I'm sitting here hoping that you gonna marry me or whatever.
Right.
And I usually take my dreams quite seriously, but then there's times where I just contemplate, like I sit there and ponder, like, what is really the issue, the underlying fear. And I think I can say confidently today, that underlying fear actually aligned with what I told you, because I said, I think you're going to break up with me because I keep tripping.
Because you keep doubting us and being like, I think we should.
No, baby, not that.
What?
Well, maybe that's one reason you would also break up with me, just because I was literally tripping.
Oh,
like I would be like,
oh, like just getting an attitude.
Like attitude, and
right? Okay,
just being all up in my feelings, and so I was like, he ain't gonna marry me for sure.
No,
because he gonna sit here and be like, oh nope, I'm good on that. I already dealt with that. She don't know, but this ain't happening.
Okay.
So I think that now that I think about it, that's probably what triggered those 2 dreams.
Yeah.
The first dream, I was kind of just heartbroken. I can't even tell you what it was about. But the second dream, I was like, oh my God, this is awful. But instead of being all angry like I was in the first dream, this time I was just sad. I just told you about the dream.
Yeah. That morning, I get up. I'm doing my normal thing, getting ready for work. No,
you weren't.
Yeah.
It was literally early in the morning.
It was early.
Very early, like 4 or 5 something. Because that's when I told you about my dream.
Yes.
And I think it's because your alarm went off.
Yes, because my alarm goes off. It goes off at 5:40.
Yeah.
So it was early.
You weren't ready for work yet.
No, but I was
chilling.
Okay, I was. Yeah, we were laying in bed, and you told. Oh yeah, you
and
right.
then I told you the dream.
Right.
And then
you told me about the dream.
I'm just sitting here like, he's not even.
Right. And so at that point, I had already.
But it won't have context if I don't say what the dream was about.
Okay, go ahead.
Because basically the dream was, there was no ring.
Oh yeah, because I had lied about the ring.
Yeah,
and
he
it was
lied
not
about
a ring.
buying me a ring and everything else. Like, first he said the ring was going to be here on a certain date. Then it turned out he never bought a ring in the first place. And then it turned out he wasn't even planning on proposing me. He was playing me this whole time. So I ended up telling him this dream when I woke up feeling some type of way. But unlike the first time, I wasn't angry at you. I was just telling you the dream, although I was still hurt.
Right.
And I'm just like wondering if you're going to do this to me. And
so,
then I'm like, if you're going to act like this, then you need to just let me know so I can be gone and get on with my life.
Right. So backwards, go to the day before, that Thursday. No, so it would have been that Wednesday. So that Wednesday, I go to get my hair cut. That's when we got up. We got up and for whatever reason, we had been moving all weekend and unpacking and getting stuff put up and doing all these things, and we were just tired. And so you had decided to call in.
Maybe. That happened last week.
That was Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm explaining. You decided to call in, and I hardly ever call in. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know what? I feel like calling in too. Mm-hmm. So I called in because I needed to recover just as much as you did. Mm-hmm. It was a long weekend, and I think so Monday we went on the date. Tuesday we went to work. Mm-hmm. Wednesday we were just not feeling work that day. And so we both called in, but I still had my hair cut.
No, we didn't call in on Wednesday. We called in on Thursday.
Was it Thursday? Oh, it was Thursday.
Because that's why I said my boss is going to think I stayed home from work so you could propose to me. Or because you proposed to me.
Are you sure? No.
Yes.
No, it was Wednesday.
No, it was Thursday.
Now I got to pull up the calendar now.
Then we had to go to work on Friday looking stupid.
We didn't work Friday. We were traveling.
Oh, then you're right. It was Wednesday.
Okay. So it was Wednesday because we still had to go to work Thursday.
Yeah, you're right.
And that's why you were worried about your boss thinking.
Yeah.
Yes. So that Wednesday, I had gone to
the barber.
We called in. So we had the day. And I was like, I still got to go get my hair cut. Right. And you were like, okay, cool. Do your thing, whatever. Mm-hmm. And of course, I go to a black barber. Black barbers usually take a little bit of time. And so I get to my barber. She gets me hooked up. And while I'm at the barber, she tells me about proposing
to her partner.
And I'm like, oh.
What was you saying about that?
So I'm talking to her and I'm like, look, I'm trying to do something like that too. And so she's telling me all this stuff. And I was like, she's like, well, what does she like to do? And da-da-da-da. And I'm like, I'm trying to get the info, the inside info. And she's like, well, just do whatever she likes. That's basically what she said. And I was like, well, the whole thing is, so my whole thought was she needs to be surprised. And I was like, and you had just mentioned.
Did you tell the barber that I needed to be surprised?
Yes. I told her, and she was like, okay, well, you can figure that out. But she was like, try to find somebody to record it and da-da-da. And I'm like, I don't know. Thing is, if she sees someone recording, she's going to know.
Yeah, I'm definitely know.
Right.
This ain't normal. We're just pulling out their phone. This ain't no game.
Right.
We ain't at the Chiefs game.
Right. So I was like, that ain't going to work. I got my hair cut. Everything went good there. And I immediately started heading towards the mall. I still hadn't got word that the ring had arrived yet because they said it was going to arrive that day at between 10:45 and like 1:15. And it had already been like 12:30ish, almost 1 o'clock. And I was making my way over and I was heading towards the mall. And I was like, I'm going to get there. I'm going to get this ring and I'm going to take care of business. So I get to the mall and we had already talked about we were going to be going Friday to my sister's graduation, and there was a color code, dress code, and we were talking about going shopping. So I was like, I need to look at some stuff. I'm gonna go check this out as well. So I went, got to the jewelry store, and they were like, we don't see it yet. And they were like, hold on, we just got our shipment in. It was the next one in line. I looked at it. It was beautiful. And I was like, great. So we got that hooked up. He told me about the warranty and all that stuff. And then I was like, all right. So I get back to the car. I take it out and I look at it again. And I'm just sitting in the car excited.
Did you lock the doors? I bet you did.
I did not lock the doors.
What's wrong with y'all? Why do men lock the doors?
Yeah, we had this conversation.
Y'all weird.
While we were dating about
a woman would have locked the doors.
Like, yeah, when you sit in the car by yourself, you're supposed to lock the doors. I probably did not, and I'm sure like
you had a whole diamond in your hand. Right. You just asking to get got.
But so I'm a man, so I would have fought for that.
Oh, okay.
So I took a look at it, and it made my heart melt because I knew that this was going to be the time. This is it. It was the 18th. I think you had already mentioned that tomorrow was going to be our 4 months dating. Yeah. It's 3, whatever.
4 minstrels?
Yeah.
No, I don't like that one.
No, it's gonna be. We're down the way.
We on our 4th monthly.
Right. Yes.
That's a horrible name.
Yes. So we were celebrating, or not even celebrating. We were just mentioning that we had survived, or we had gotten through.
We didn't survive.
We didn't survive it. No,
that's not what this is.
We persevered. We grew through these months, and we were feeling great about it. It was like, hey, we're in a good space.
Yeah.
We've accomplished so much
in such a short
in this time, getting to know each other, figuring out each other, getting into a space where we're comfortable and have the ability to do this like we're doing now. And not have a bunch of people coming in on us and doing a bunch of extra stuff. So
this is podcasting, is what he's talking about.
Yes. Oh yeah, podcasting. Yes. not. Yeah, I guess that could be considered a lot of other stuff.
Like what y'all talking about?
We needed some space to do some things, but no, not have a lot of interruptions while podcasting. Because of that, we were in a good place. We were feeling good about it, and we had just connected through starting to pray together, and so it was all starting to come together. And I was like, "This is it, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this." And so,
but you didn't though.
I had to come home. I literally had to come home that night with the ring. Yeah. But I was like, tomorrow's the day. So the goal was tomorrow we were going to go to work, and honestly, I was going to do it at lunchtime because. So here was the plan.
Oh Lord!
I was going to pick you up at lunch, and I was going to take you to the spot, the little lake spot, where we used to talk all the time. Yeah. And that's where I was going to do it.
You know what? I wasn't even available for lunch on Thursday.
No, you weren't.
So
I know. So instead, that morning, she got up and she started talking about this dream. Not even knowing that I had snuck the ring into the house and I had put it in the closet right next to the bathroom. And so it was like right there. It was readily available for me to get to in case I needed it for whatever reason.
To propose, nigga, what else would you need it for?
Unless I needed to cut some glass or something, whatever.
In case I needed this ring for whatever reason.
Right. Needed to chop some julienne, some fries or whatever. I don't know. But no, it was there. It was ready. I mean, because the guy at the jewelry store, he literally said he had to carry his in his backpack for like a year before he... Why he had it for a year? Or for months. Probably not a year, but he said he had it in his backpack for months. And he had to try to keep right. So he had to keep it somewhere. So then when the moment was right, he could just bam. And so I was like, I can't do that. I need to set up something.
I mean, you may have gotten away with it. You don't carry a bag.
No, that's what I'm saying. So more than likely it would have been in my car. But then I'm like, I can't just have that in my car somewhere.
No, that wouldn't be wise.
Right. And so I was like, nope, it's going to be right here.
It could have been at your dad's house.
Yeah, it could have been there. That probably, but then I have to get to it. And, you want something.
And then what would happen if he got it? He might think it was a sign from God.
We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that.
You see his girl wearing my ring. Ooh, wee.
God did bless me with this ring.
He found a ram in the bush. I'm like, ooh.
We're not going to do that. So,
I'd be like, Pastor, the ring look familiar. Is that mine?
See, it's a whole nother fight now. I got to fight you now.
You ain't going to fight no old man.
No, I'm not. We wake up. And you're like, babe, I had this dream. And I'm like, oh, no, what happened? And you're like, you were playing me this whole time. And in my head, I'm thinking, I literally have this ring right now. It's here. I had planned this whole thing. And now you telling me that you feel some kind of way. And you're like, you had this dream that this was happening. And I was like, hold on. And I got up, went in the bathroom, got in the closet, pulled it out, and I looked at it one more time, and I was like, this is it right here. This is the time. This is it. It's perfectly lined up. I was like, God created the moment for me to surprise you. So it kind of reminds me of the Cosby Show. I don't know if you've seen that, where all the couples are given the gifts, and then gets to Claire, and he gives her the wrong gift. And she's like, oh, this was so-and-so's gift. And then he pulls off this other thing, and it's like, nah, that's not what I got you. I got you this. And she's like, ah. So, yeah, I'll have to show you that clip later.
Yeah, okay.
But in any case, you're telling me about the dream, and I had already come back to the bedroom, and I'm like, oh, well, babe. And I'm just telling you, I would never do that to you, babe. I was like, if I was going to propose, I would tell you that, I love you, and that this time that we've grown together has been great. And, I was basically giving you the proposal speech.
Well, you were saying basically that you wouldn't do that to me. You wouldn't play about me like that.
Right.
Where you would let me think you were going to propose to me if you didn't mean it.
Right. And I was like, if I'm going to propose, I'm going to mean it. I was like, I'm not just going to ask you to marry me and not mean it, or say that I'm going to do something and not do it. I was like, you mean the world to me. I was like, I love you. And I was like, and I really do. I said, I really do want to spend the rest of my life with you. And at the time, you were in your normal little cocoon pose, turned away from me.
Yeah, I was just laying there.
Yeah, and I was like...
just listening.
And in my head, the wheels were turning. I was like, got her. And so I was like, babe, are you listening to me? And you're like, yeah, I'm listening to you. And I was like, well, you're not facing me. And I was like, okay. So I was like, turn on your light. And so she's kind of fumbling around. I was like, no, I'll get it. So then I come around and I get down to turn on the light.
I don't even know how you got around there so fast.
I get down on one knee to get in the position. I flip on the light and I say, I love you so much, Jessica Ann Hutton.
That is not how that went.
What did I say?
You flipped on the light and I was like,
yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you're right. You flipped on you kind of freaked out for a second. And then I said, Jessica Ann Hutton. I was like, will you marry me? And then you freaked out a little more.
Like,
and then you covered your face and you were like, no. and I was like, I took a pause.
He was like, what?
And then I was like, I'm going to ask you this question again.
You asked me again.
Yes, I was like, babe, will you marry me?
And I think I said no again. I did say no again.
Yes, and I think it wasn't because she didn't want to marry me. It was understood in the tone.
It was embarrassing.
That she was caught off guard.
Oh, there you go.
You were caught off guard and you just reacted because you were it was early, you just got up, you had your bonnet on, you were just like
a mess.
Yeah, and you were like, not like this.
My breath is funky. And I just told you about my bad dream.
Right.
In my face.
Right. And so the number one thing was to catch you off guard, to surprise you. So I got that done. The one thing, though, that didn't happen was we didn't record it. But that's...
How could you? You didn't know it was coming.
Right. I had to be spur of the moment, and I had to go with what I was feeling. Yeah. And that feeling is not something that was just like, oh, the feeling just came on. Mm-hmm. I've been feeling that for a while. I just had the opportunity to express it.
Well, you said that you felt like God set you up, or
yes, I said he gave me the alley-oop.
Yeah.
I said he gave me the alley-oop. I said he got you in your head this morning. He put you into space, and I was able, we had the full day, the day before, to rest and relax and chill and connect, and it just flowed right into that morning. That made it so much better. Being able to get you in that zone and then kind of surprise you, it was perfect. I didn't get to record it, but this is to kind of make up for that.
But what's interesting, though, after you got your haircut, we went to the mall that same day?
Yes.
So when we was at the mall,
right,
we were supposed to be looking for clothes for the ceremony.
Yes.
And we did all that, and I was like, you know what? How about we go out and go to the other stores? What I was trying to do was find a way to get you to the jewelry store so you could check on the status of the ring. That's what I was trying to do.
So you was trying to be like, maybe he'll say it and be like, hey, while I'm here,
I was literally waiting for you to do it, because I also felt like you ain't gonna do it if I'm here.
Right.
So I figured, if I'm shopping, looking for a certain shirt or something like that, then you'll be like, I'm gonna go use the bathroom or something real quick and then go check
Sneak off and grab it
on the ring. And so, I really did want us to check like Von Mar and things like that. But Von Mar was literally right there next to the jewelry store.
Yes, it was.
And I'm sitting here like, why is this nigga not going to the jewelry store?
Like, he was trying to set me up, and I was just chill.
Like, it ain't no big deal. I'm like, are you kidding me? Why would you not want to know where my daggone ring is?
So that's probably why you had that dream. You was all in your feelings like, this dude is playing me.
Yeah, I think so. And then we walked by the jewelry store twice.
Yes, and the dude was still there, and he gave me the what's up when I came by. He saw you and me together. You didn't even see him, and I saw him, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I was so annoyed. I'm like, is he kidding me? So then I think I said something like, okay, I'm not going to find anything here, or I'm just going to get something at Walmart or something like that.
That's what you said.
And then I was like, I'm ready to go.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, why would you not go check on the ring?
Not even knowing that I had already been there that day.
Already picked it up.
Yep.
That's a trip.
You was in your feelings about that.
I was in my feelings. Like it took everything in me to not have an attitude when we got in the car.
I'm glad you didn't.
I didn't. I was real cool about it. So I think after that we went to go get something to eat or came home.
Yes, yeah, we did.
And then that was it. I didn't give you an attitude, but that dream came. So apparently it was in my subconscious.
you was feeling some kind of way about that. Like, this dude, is he really serious about this?
Yeah. I'm like, you ain't even gonna ask. You're not even a little curious about this ring. I done walked you past this store 3 times.
And it is literally right outside Walmart.
Yeah. I was like, wow, okay. So this is what we doing?
Oh, shoot.
Like, even if they said it'll be here on Christmas Eve, that should still make you be like, can you give me an update?
Right. Can I find out what's going on with it?
All the while, he already had the ring. And apparently it was in the house.
It was already at the house. Yep. Because I brought it in after the barber.
Dang.
I brought it right in, took it straight to the back, put it away.
Wow. That's crazy. So needless to say, I was exceedingly and abundantly surprised.
Yes.
And I was looking crazy the whole time. But I'm happy.
And I'm happy.
Me too. I'm very happy and I feel blessed and grateful.
Well, I have one question for you. Will you marry me?
Nigga, I'm not answering this question again. I already told you the answer.
Well, just don't say no.
Yes. Yes, I will marry you.
All right.